Men, name is Steinar Grøtterud. I'm the present chair of ISOC Norway. And I'm so pleased to see people here in the room and also hopefully some on the internet. And we're so lucky today that we have some sort of a keynote speaker and from Ole Martin Martinsen. And that's not the regular Ole Martin. It's a very important guy because of the upcoming IGF 2025 here in Oslo, Norway, in June. He is what has been the country co-chair, and he's organizing most of these things, and he will tell us about the Norwegian role of internet governance. Maybe you have a different title, but I do hope that this will be, I know this will be very interesting. And you have approximately an hour or so.
Between 15 minutes and an hour.
Between 15 minutes and an hour. Depends on how many tricky questions you get and so on. And thereafter, a short break. And we have the regular General Assembly for ISOC Norway. That's a piece of cake. Nobody, don't leave. We have we have person on every seat, so there is no ad hoc voting on this one. Okay. So with this, I give the mic to you. And looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you.
Take care.
Is that okay? Can you hear me? Great. Well, thank you for inviting me here. I'm Ole Martin Martinsen. I'm the Policy Director for Digitalization and Emerging Technology in the Norwegian Ministry of the Foreign Affairs. I have to think before I say my title. And I'm here as the co-chair for the multi-stakeholder advisory group in the IGF also. I'm going to talk a bit about Norway's unexpected role in the digital world, or what happens from my point of view and for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs point of view, and maybe also for some other ministries' point of view. What happened when we suddenly engaged ourselves in the internet governance area and launched this Norway as a host country for the IGF. And I'm as I said, I'm a bit intimidated to talk to people who know what I'm talking about. I'm not used to talking to people who know anything about internet or internet governance, so you have to bear with me and just let it pass when I say something stupid. I wasn't there 20 years ago. I was there just 20 months ago, actually. But to set the scene some, the IGF, does everybody know what the IGF is? Do I need to, is this a crowd that...
Most know, but maybe not everyone.
No, okay. The Internet Governance Forum is a forum that's, well, it's non-binding discussions, inclusive representations. It has a multi-stakeholder advisory group, but that's appointed by the Secretary General of the UN. It discusses policy and governance issues, but it has no decisive power. It is just a discussion and policy advisory. And it has also, I believe it's like totally, I saw this number, I'm not sure it's correct, but 175 national and regional IGF communities and organization policy network work groups. So there's the IGF is it's an umbrella for a lot of activities, and the IGF forum, that's a yearly meeting when we come together and discuss all the work and present all the work that's been done in the last year. And then the multi-stakeholder advisory group, that the host country of IGF then gets a co-chair position that I am also been so lucky to have been given. And of course now from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and foreign policy view, all of you being the internet gurus that you are, of course you know this, but this was born in the 90s and the 20s when there was an optimism of globalization and the symptoms, and the internet was a symbol of a new borderless world, a freedom, was the premise for democracy and democratic values. And and out of that sprung this idea of the multi-stakeholder advice, the multi-stakeholder governance model. And now there's a different world we have here. The situation is quite different now. There's increasing nationalism, polarization. We have authoritarian tendencies. And it's a decline in the democratic index. And instead of the liberal democracies we thought the internet and the dialogue would foster. And one can say, and I'm not saying that, but one can, that the two sides also reflects the multilateral and the multi-stakeholder advisory governance models. At least one can say that they have the same tendencies. And we see this all over the platform now from the ministry. So that's the start. And then, still setting the scene here, we have processes, international processes that drive this ongoing processes. And this is mainly the UN processes. You have the two advices plus 20 and the Global Digital Compact. And the voices process, and again, I take it for granted that you know what it is, but this is the giving the mandate to the IGF. And that's up now for a new evaluation, and it's up now for a new discussion. The voices process runs through whole of 2025, and it will be decided in New York in December 2025 at the UNGA meeting there. And then you have the Global Digital Compact process. So it's a parallel process, also addressing digitalization. The Global Digital Compact springs out from the Future Summit of the Future, that was in September 2024. This is a UN process also. And that addresses the managing of artificial intelligence in the UN system. And digital inclusion and human rights and data governance, and also touching into some international security data policy there. And the Global Digital Compact process, that's driven by the Office for the Digitalization and Emerging Technologies in New York. And the Voices Plus 10 process is driven by the ITU, or from the Geneva office. So we have two different processes here in the UN, parallel processes driven by two different offices. And the Global Digital Compact also has, it also touches into a third process in the UN. That's the reform of the UN and a new way to address digital issues. So for us, working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, working with foreign policy, these are issues that we are very involved in and that we are aware of. And as we see, of course, there's a problem with alignment between these two processes, and there is also a problem with overlapping themes. I think actually you can ask questions now because I'm going quite fast. So if you just raise your hand, and if there are some online, can you just point it to me? Yeah.
Just a second. I think we forgot to need the mic for the question.
As long as he repeats the questions, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. You said that UNGA should decide the VASIS future or the IGF future in December 25.
Yeah.
But the VASIS plus 20 will also have a meeting in July in Geneva.
Yeah, but it's yes. Okay. Is this a mic or is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it's the General Assembly in the UN that finally decides it. Then there's, but there will be meetings all through the year will be a meeting in start of July in Geneva.
Yeah, the high-level
Yeah.
meeting will be there.
Yeah, parallel with the AI summit. Yeah, and there's also there will be meetings all the way and discussions and a final paper. But we can work with the outcome all the way to December in 2025.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, and this is the AI and the fragmented global governance, and this is interesting because the Office of Digitalization and Emerging Technologies, the ODET, has been given the responsibility for making UN's approach to AI. And as we have said now, that's in New York, and the ITU and the business process is probably based in Geneva. So you have the governance and the UN's approach to AI governance, and internet governance as two completely different processes. And also now they also stated that the audit and this process also will be a multi-stakeholder based process with the AI government. This is just setting the scene because all this is going on at the same time. And then Norway appears in this mix. Because in 2023, if we look back there, that was when we didn't have a Ministry of Digitalization. We didn't have a Minister of Digitalization. Back then we had a Ministry of Local Government who ran these issues. And in 2023, there was the ITU meeting in Bucharest, I believe, and there was the IGF in Ethiopia. And in both those arenas, Norway were approached by like-minded and asked if we could host the IGF in 2025. I am not sure, but that was the first time I was in Ethiopia. That was the first time the Minister of Foreign Affairs had a diplomat in the IGF ever. The Minister of what they call it there, had been there, but not in the foreign policy side had been there at all. And at that time, we can say that, but let's try. Norway technology policies in this area have been mostly inward-looking. How will the world affect Norway, and how can we adapt to the changes in the world? Not how can Norway affect the world in techno policies and in the internet. And we were approached there and we were asked, we need someone to host the IGF in 2024. So we came back from there. I'm including me, and of course I was not included in this discussion. I would have said something. But they came back and they discussed it, and they discussed it without involving anyone that had ever arranged something like the IGF. It was just young bureaucrats came home and they had been approached by someone and said, you have to do this. And it's a great idea. Of course, it's a great idea. But we didn't do a lot of planning before we decided that let us try and go for the IGF. And as I said, we have a Minister of Local Government that they convinced that this was a good idea. Because we thought it was just a conference, so we could do it at Lillestrøm. Let's see here. Then suddenly we found ourselves in a situation. And that was because in 2020 already, Russia had launched its candidate for a host country for IGF in 2025. And we, as a small country and small and experienced bureaucrats traveling into the internet world, we of course were, we didn't know that. or we didn't know that it was. We didn't know why Russia had done this in 2020, 3 years earlier or 4 years earlier. And that's, of course, because with the host country, because we were awarded a host country position, we are arranging IGF now in 2025. But with this Internet Governance Forum in Norway, we gained unexpectedly an influential position internationally that we wasn't prepared for at all. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it was where we weren't prepared for that. And that's, of course, you get the co-chair in the multi-stakeholder advisory group. That's the role that I have. And there you get some influence on the agenda and you get involved. But that role also gives you a lot of contact, a lot of relations, and a lot of invites like this. So in foreign policy and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's important. That's how you build leverage. And we see also that Norway now are invited into forums and arenas that we previously didn't have access to for technology issues, not just internet, but digital policies, digital diplomacy as a whole. Both the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Digitalization experience this, that there's a much more interest for what we're doing and for what Norwegian policies. And we see that also in the European community and the Nordic Baltic community are suddenly invited and included much more. And of course, for Norway outside the EU, this is a theme in the EU, also digital policies. And it's a theme in the EU where Norway have been sidelined, especially after Brexit, because then you have to treat everyone the same way. And then before that, we were more included. But with this, we are again invited into a lot of technology and digital forums that we weren't before. And also, of course, tech companies, civil society organizations, and globally are reaching out. And also in the clear relation aspect for the ministry, for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are contacted. We have an agenda that we can drive. So our issue now is, of course, how can we use this? And I'm not going to present to you how Norway is going to use this, but that's an issue we're working on. And you as an organization, as a Norwegian chapter of our organization, that's important that you come to us also and you contribute to this, because we have gained a position that has a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities, but we have to grab them and we have to use them, and it won't last. It's something that we have now, and it will be over. But we did something more than just invite ourselves to arrange the IGF, because in Norway we have an election in October, and usually the IGF is in November or December. But we couldn't arrange the IGF in December with an election in October, so we had to put it in June. And that means that, of course, that meant that we had 6 less months to plan it, and that wasn't a very great idea. And again, we didn't involve anyone that had ever arranged anything when we planned this. But then in June, but with the 2 other processes, the Global Digital Compact and the VICES, now IGF is before. It's before the high-level meeting in Geneva in July, and it's before all the other negotiation of the VICES. So by putting the IGF in June, we have made the IGF more relevant for itself. It has a better ability now, or position now, to produce recommendations, reports, and be involved in the discussion of devices and its own mandate that will be decided during the autumn there. So that's something that Norway did that hopefully will have a very positive impact on the IGF's possibility to renew its mandates. And that's the Norwegian policy on this also. Renewing the IGF mandate and securing its foundation, its funding forward. So that changed. Timing of the IGF changed. And then, of course, there's the other issue here, the US. Because in this discussion between the multilateral and the multi-stakeholder and the governance of technology, US has always been a large and important partner. Now we see uncertainty in their positions, and maybe especially we are unsure where we are in the internet governance area. We are uncertain how the US will address it and how much they will participate. We've seen in other international forums, and of course this kind of arenas, the US has said that it's not that interested, and we've seen that they're pulling out. And if that would happen in this discussion also, in devices and in the Global Digital Compact, of course there will be, it will undermine the process, of course, but it will also leave a power vacuum. It will be an empty space there for someone, because there have been well, in Norway, I don't know, we may be probably 5 people in the government that work in this area that could, and US has 20 in every meeting. So there's a power vacuum if they disappear from this discussion. And also there's there's a shift. You saw J.D. Vance had a speech in Paris at France, the AI Action Summit, where he stated new American policies on AI regulation and AI governance, which is quite the opposite of what we would like to see in the internet governance space. So this is another element that adds uncertainty to this process, but also adds, of course, opportunities.
I mean, this might be a little bit political, but I'm going to try it anyway. Sorry.
For the viewers, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try to put some policy or ask a little bit of politics. So it's no secret that ISOC as an organization couldn't take a position on where to locate the IGF, but we were very much against Russia, so the position was sort of given. With the Ukraine war, the US policy shifted quite significantly, and among them, Doreen was elected as Secretary General of the ITU. That's something I'm not really sure would have happened if the Ukraine war didn't happen. I can't remember who she was up against, but it was a Russian guy. I mean, for the time being, she's in power in the ITU. But what we were seeing, and our big concern, was the fact that Russia and China were moving towards bilateral agreements. And even before the Ukraine war, the US was abdicating their leadership and sort of letting Russia and China have the leadership, and also moving towards these bilateral agreements. That the Ukraine war was a big shift in that respect. I'm wondering a little bit if the U.S. once again abdicates. Do you think what do you think will happen? I very much see the EU now as stepping up, but it is, I wouldn't necessarily say a brave new world, but it's very difficult to understand the landscape right now with the U.S. abdicating for responsibilities.
Well, I don't know what will happen. I don't know. I don't know. And it's well, and it's difficult to say. I don't know how this will go. But it's the one thing that we can do in Norway. We're here now. We're doing this. And we're taking a stand, and we're making more influence on this area than we have ever done before, and we will continue to do that. And maybe this vacuum here also can trigger that Norway will be a more involved partner. I can't say that we will be, but maybe. And of course, with these kind of movements in this area, and Norway also placed himself in the middle of it. It's naturally that, and it will come naturally that we have developed clearer policies and maybe also clearer engagement. But I'm not sure. But I think that's something. But in the larger picture, I don't know. If the U.S. disappears from all the arenas, that would be difficult. Then someone else have to step up and fill that. But there are candidates for that we can work with, or that France is here, and they have taken a stand on the AI issue, and they will be involved in the AI issue forward. EU is of course there. It's not that we're not dependent on the US to make this world go around. So we can, but I'm not sure. But we have to see what happens. We have to see and take advantage of the possibilities that's there. And I think that the most important thing is that for us is that Norway is doing something here and stepped up when and we were called for.
Yeah, just to add on what you say about the consequences of this vacuum, because like specific. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, just to reiterate. So it's okay?
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, just to add on what he said, like because like I think the critical point is on this vacuum, because like if you look back, like if you look at the technological sites where you have ITF, ICANN, where the US has played a critical role. And then back in the day, there was even the discussion about the one internet, where like you have Russia and China wanted to make their own internet, which was something which could have emphasized on the fragmentation of the internet. And then back then the US was there, then it makes some kind of equilibrium. But now, like this vacuum, because it's on the technical side and also on the policy side, which is a big risk. Yeah, that's my comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's the mic. I'm not sure this is the correct question, but even though I was bored about all the talk about the IANA transition back some years ago, I actually believe that is something that we now benefit in total of, because before the IANA transition, Internet was in a way controlled by the Department of Commerce in US. No, it's not controlled by that. Whether the present administration in US has the power to revert that, change that in one way or another, that's an open question. And I hope that during the IGF, the upcoming IGF, this is questions that we will at least have to be discussed and monitored in a way that the public are aware of what may happen on the internet if there is a change. Because this is not written in stone. internet has never been, there's very few things that are written in stone on the internet. It has been always evolving, developing things and so on. And we might see, I sincerely hope not, but we might see a different landscape if the worst scenario comes into fact. So you got a job to do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say about the same as Steinar, but my experience from working in ICANN and with these questions for more than 20 years, US will never let the zone go away or the domain name system and the root disappear from US. So even if the BRIC countries they have wanted it for years, from the first time when I worked in the ITU, ITU had to give up to get it. And now they're trying again, but US will never let it go, whether it's owned by the people as it is now, or not commercial, or even if Trump administration wants to take it back and nationalize it again, which you never know what he can do. So even if he does that, he will never let it go to the other, or to the vacuum, as you call it. So I'm not really afraid of that. But what's we're discussing in the IGF is so much wider than the ICANN and IETF. It's all the other things. So a lot of other things, that's human rights, digital divide, all these things that we have fought for so many years, they are in a much bigger danger, in my view, than the internet by itself. You always risk, of course, as you said, that these BRIC countries can establish their own net and make a fragmentation, but that won't stop they can't take over the route that's already established from the US side, from the old ARPANET. I don't think so. Thanks.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. But we have chosen an exciting time to engage. And that's and I was actually nice to have a little conversation, questions about that, because I was planning on closing on this actually, and just some reflections on the how fragile this is, also because Norway placing itself quite in the middle of something, and as a small country, because we are a small country, even though we like to think that we are a large country, we are in the world a small country with good position, but a small country. But we have managed to position ourselves in somewhere where we can influence the digital development and maybe also the future of internet, or at least the UN processes leading up to that. Due to timing and of course the geopolitics is ever changing, that was not something that we planned on when we talked about arranging the IGF in Norway either, that would happen. And of course I haven't mentioned that much, but the whole UN also with this as a US and the funding of the UN always also under strain in all these processes. But small countries can still shape outcomes and participate in this, and in Norway we are now trying to do that also. And then of course this is Lillestrøm. The railway station, and I don't know if you all have been to the IGF 2025 website. That's the Norwegian site for the IGF there, and it's actually quite nice. You can see some of the graphics and the layouts, and you can also, if you need, book your hotel room at a discount. And you can apply for visa if you need that. But that was, and I hope I will see you all in Lillestrøm on the 23rd of June. It's, as I said earlier today, also we have 840 application for sessions at the IGF, and I think the working number was that we will try to. We didn't want a big IGF with 300 sessions, so we were trying to. We was planning for 150. So there's 840 suggestions, and we're going for 150. So I believe that the IGF could be a good place, a really good forum for the Internet Governance Forum, and also a good start for the Internet Governance Forum, not just 20, but for the next 20 also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. Excellent speech. I was going to ask you, what's your KPI for the meeting? What's your key performance indicator? When are you succeed? When are you happy?
For the IGF, now we have actually said that. Of course, we have that. There is going to. It has to be a success. It has to be a good arrangement. That's one. But we have the Voices plus 20 process as an indicator for the Norwegian success with arranging the IGF.
And is this going to be the battle of multi-stakeholder model versus the what's the other word? Is multilateral? Is this the? Because what I understand also from the Internet Dagene held by NORID is that there is actually some sort of a battle going on. And is this the arena where we pick the winner?
No. This is arena for discussions and a presentation of work you've done earlier. This is just this is a forum where everyone comes together and we discuss and we decide, or we discuss. So no, there won't be any battles at the IGF. There will only be discussions.
It is at Lillestrøm.
Maybe late at night, but so no, it won't be a battle there. And I think it's it all will work out in the end.
Perfect. I'm definitely looking forward to this. It's in the peak seasons of Norway with the midnight sun or the hopefully sunny weather, and we will shock everybody how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Even at Lillestrøm. I didn't say that. If there are any more questions, this is the time to raise it. Yes.
I'm actually gonna say something against you. So I don't think this is the key battle, but the fact that Norway was chosen was a key factor in how the future, and it's not only about multi-stakeholder versus multilateralism, but it's also even more importantly against bilateralism, which is what Russia and China are proposing. So the very fact that Norway was chosen is a big step towards the continued focus on, and I don't think you said anything about that, but there was some high level pressure toward to get some competition against Russia, and to have Norway as a competitor for the event was basically about choosing that. Once again, this wasn't. I mean, I'm really happy that Norway was chosen, but more important than Norway being chosen is that Russia was not chosen.
I think you should not comment on that one. I take that part. I think there was no there was no other candidate. But what I'm really hoping also, and I like the hands coming up here, but I also like that putting internet and internet governance on the agenda in Norway. That is something that we are not that used to it. So no offense to Internet and so on, but having it more been, and I hope the press will be there. I sincerely hope.
Yeah.
I hope that they will pick up the words like internet governance, multi-stakeholder, and all these things. So yes, some more questions.
Thank you. It was really interesting, and you can go ahead with this. This is fine.
Thank you.
Is fine.
Thank you.
So with the question about where the battle will be, I agree with you that IGF is not an arena for battles, but it depends on what the MAG chooses as issues to discuss. And you can decide quite a lot through that process to find, because we know all the challenges that are ahead. So a lot of those 800 suggestions can just be moved away, and then concentrate on these things that can help the VASIS process, because that's where it starts, through the VASIS process, and also through the GDC and what's going on in these other forums. So what will be discussed on IGF will be forwarded to the other processes. So, and to you, Steinar, about the engagement of Norway in internet governance, I'm really happy that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs now have been active again, because when I started to work, when I was on the first meeting in Athens, and also in the plenipotentiary and the Tunis agenda and VESIS, then I worked with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yeah.
They were active at that time, but then suddenly they just moved away from it. And what's been done in Norway through the government since then has been mainly concentrating on ICANN and taking care of the top-level domains to assure that the Norwegian, especially top-level domain, we continue to be strong. And we have been really active, both governments and NORID, in the ICANN processes all these 20 years. And we have a good standing there. But it's a lot of other areas. As I said, IGF is so much wider, and internet governance is much more than ICANN. So I'm happy that we are engaged, even if this was kind of a little surprise on what it comprised for the Norwegian government. But I'm sure you will be up to the task. And my hope is that when this is over, that the governments, both the Ministry of Digitalization and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will continue their work on internet governance and not just leave it then.
I'm inclined to give the ministry or the government actually a little applause for stepping up, because it is a big. So if you would join me, I
applaud them also.
Hi, so my name is Salve Nilsen. I used to be chairman of Internet Society Norway before Steinar here. And when we were discussing internet governance stuff in those years, we spent quite a few calories on thinking what that would mean. And as things go, internet governance and the IGF in itself, I have asked myself, what should that look like in Norway? What could Norway bring to something like that? Because at the time we were trying to find ways for IGF to come to Norway at some point. Well, it never went anywhere. We put some effort into it. And the best idea that I came around for making something or having a Norwegian IGF to almost give to the internet community at large, in the international community, is a word. I would propose that IGF in Lillestrøm pick a word, and I would propose that this word should be the word dugnad. because dugnad is like a very Norwegian word, and it represents a foundation of how internet is made and how it works. It works on a volunteer basis throughout everywhere, and it's in a sense the core mechanism on how both decisions are made, for example through IETF, and how the software that runs the internet is built up through volunteer contributions in open source communities. And those processes, and those are right now, in a sense, they have been weakened over many years, and they need some attention. So we can get almost a double whammy effect here by both setting focus on a core feature of that what makes internet the good thing that it is, and something which is uniquely Nordic. Like dugnad is just a word in Denmark and Norway, as far as I know. And if everybody can come home from IGF in Lillestrøm knowing this new word and start using it at home, then I think we would have had a major win. So that's my comment.
Yeah, thank you. But that's you will hear it in the speech at Lillestrøm. Yeah, we'll put in some minister speech.
I'm happy
Yeah.
to assist if we need.
They use ombud already.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not introduce dugnad from Norway?
And internet dugnad.
Yeah. I don't see any more hands. So with this, I say thank you very, very much. This is also something that we have to do on the checklist. Have the keynote speaker, give something to the keynote speaker. And what I can give you is a big thank you.
Thank you. That's enough for me.
And we will touch base in Lillestrøm.
Yeah.
And all the best for this conference. You will be working hard. So with this, I've said thank you, and we take a break before we go into the regular GA. Everybody here are welcome to sit down, even if you are not a member of ISOC, or if you are a member of ISOC, you have the full right to vote on, and so on. And if you're not a member of ISOC, there is a free charge of becoming a member, so it's very easy. So thank you very much, and a big applause for Will Martin. Da begynner vi. Velkommen til årsmøtet. Vi regner med at de som her har lyst til å være med på årsmøtet og medlemmer av ISOC, så da sier vi at da kjører vi i gang. Vi skal altså gå gjennom en agenda. Vi skal ha en godkjenning av innkalling og saksliste, valg av møtestyrer, valg av referent, velge 2 personer til å skrive under protokollen, godkjenning av årsrapport, godkjenning av regnskap fra forrige periode, budsjett som en orienteringssak, medlemsavgift, valg av styremedlemmer og vedtektsendringer, og eventuelt som egentlig ikke noe formelt bit. Da spør jeg, det noen som ikke vil godkjenne innkalling og saksliste? Enorm jubel, og da godtar vi den. Jeg foreslår meg selv som møteleder. Valg av referent. Der har vi forslag til at Ole refererer. Valg av 2 personer for å skrive under protokollen. Der har jeg forslag på Salve, og så trenger jeg en til, fordi jeg glemte det. Du? Da oppgir du navnet ditt til Ole i en egnet tid etterpå. Ja. Tusen takk, Per Inge. Det var den gærne veien. Da går jeg fort inn på årsrapporten. Alle papirene har blitt lagt ut på vår hjemmeside, men jeg har da plukket ut noen sentrale ting som jeg har lyst til å si noe om. Styret har blitt for denne perioden, som altså går fra 13. mars i fjor til i dag, 19. mars i år. Tom Fredrik, undertegnede, Telina, Joar, Espen, og vi hadde en vararepresentant som ikke står i vedtektene var nødvendig, men han tilbød seg til å være det, og vi valgte han inn, og det var Thomas Kramstad. I tillegg så det en del ulike roller som vi må besette i forhold til de funksjonene som ISOC krever av oss. Og der har vi Chapter Advisory Council Representative, Telina. Chapter Voting Delegate, Telina. Uralo-representantene meg og Tom Fredrik. Sosial media-ansvarlig, Telina. Mediakontakt, Tom Fredrik. Jeg har vært kasserer, og jeg har også vært leder. Mange hatter, mye rart. Nei, det var den gjerne veien igjen. Vi har antall medlemmer, og da har jeg notert meg det som står på den såkalte portalen til ISOC. Først i tredje var det 166, i dag det 171, så det litt rann. I denne perioden har vi hatt 10 styremøter, unnskyld. Og vi har hatt en del aktiviteter som jeg har lyst til å nevne. Først og fremst at vi hadde et veldig fint medlemsmøte under titelen 3 ganger NIS 2, hvor vi diskuterte NIS 2-direktivet. Vi deltok på NONOG 6, som altså Network Operational Group og et eller annet. Der har vi det, vet du. Der hadde vi en som også snakket om NIS 2. Så har vi gjort en del støtteerklæringer, og det vi får jevnt og trutt inn dette her, vil dere være med på å støtte, signere et brev og slike ting, og de står ramset opp her. Alt sammen står også i årsrapporten. Skal jeg prøve å trykke riktig vei da? Ja. Økonomi kommer jeg litt mer tilbake, men i årsrapporten så velger vi å nevne at vi et såkalt gigabit-chapter. Det det maksimale av hva vi kan få fra stønad fra ISOC Foundation. I 2024 var det $3,500. Den støtten, det såkalt Chapter Administration Fund, den støtter det å kunne drive en organisasjon som lisenser, regnskapstjenester, medlemskap og kostnader på medlemsmøter og slike ting, slik som her. Vi har en god økonomi med en reserve på ca. 15 000 kroner. Det var det på årsrapporten. Det noen som har noen spørsmål til årsrapporten? Ingen spørsmål. Det noen som ikke vil godta årsrapporten? Kan vi godta årsrapporten? Ja. Jeg gjør det. Ok, da går vi på regnskapet, og det jeg har valgt å presentere her et resultatregnskap. Når vi laget dette regnskapet, budsjettet for 2024, så var planen vår at vi skulle bruke dette året her til å være på Arendalsuka og en del kostnader forbundet med det. I og med at AGF ble lagt til Norge, så endret vi fokuset, så at vi ville heller bruke tid og ressurser på AGF i Lillestrøm og utsette Arendalsuka. Det speiler litt av de avvikene på det vi budsjetterte på regnskapssiden, men vi gikk med et lite overskudd som gjorde at vi kunne påføre den der sikkerhetskontoen vår med nye 5 000 kroner, slik at vi da har 15 000 ved årsslutt. Hvis dere ser litt inn her, så ser dere det disse administrative kostnadene som vi får støtte av og har fått godkjent forbruket av pengene for 2024. Det har vi fått godkjent av ISOC Foundations. Det med rød strek under og hjerte, for å si på den måten. Spørsmål til regnskapet? Yes, Maja.
Regnskapshonorar, hva det?
Det vi har en regnskapsfører som...
Så mye inn og ut at det nødvendig?
Nei, altså jeg satte det som betingelse for at skal jeg være kasserer, så vil jeg ha noen som gjør det. Og de 7 000 kronene, 7 000 kronene, det det vi... Det får vi også dekket fint av dette her sånn. Det som skal også sies jo at vi søkte om og fikk momsverdi, eller mer, her heter det momskompensasjonsstøtte på 7 846 kroner. Det var første gang vi søkte om det, takket være Tom Fredrik. Så det skal vi gjøre. Og der ser du også de 35 000, eller ble da 36 000 litt med på grunn av valutagreiene. Men Maja, ja, det fullt mulig å gjøre dette her uten å ha en regnskapsfører på det. Men vi har fått en billig pris, og jeg synes det jævla deilig. Hvis jeg skal være kasserer, så det sånn det Men hvis det noen andre som vil være kasserer, så kan du få lov til å velge. Spørsmål til andre poster på resultatregnskapet? Ok. Det noen som imot at vi godtar regnskapet? Da godtar vi regnskapet. Det var den gærne vei. Fanker det meg begynner å leve. Det også en revisjonsrapport, og vi fikk Bjørn Remseth fra... Eller,
Han medlem i ISOC.
Ja, men han også medlem i FN. Ja, medlem, ja.
Vi gjorde det sånn at FN og ISOC byttet, så Steinar må stille opp og revidere FNs regnskap.
Ja, sånn det. Han gir følgende konklusjon, at det et rettvisende bilde av vår økonomi. Han har en kommentar på disse avvikene fra det vi budsjetterte, men det prøvde jeg å forklare med det at vi budsjetterte egentlig med større aktivitet på Arendalsuka, som ikke ble noe av, men at vi tok dette her i stedet. Riktig vei. Revisjonsrapporten. Det som neste ting som på agendaen, punktet medlemsavgift. Det vi tvunget til å ha på agendaen. Styret har ikke foreslått noen medlemsavgift for 2025. Og dermed så medlemsavgiften 0. Det noen som har motsigelser på det? Da klapper vi for den.
Jeg så plutselig, har vi satt på valg av revisor? For vi må velge ny revisor.
Nei. Ja.
Da tror jeg vi bør be årsmøtet om mulighet til å velge revisor I dag, hvis det må vel godkjennes.
Da må du 2/3 flertall, vet du.
Ja.
Spørs om du får det.
Nei, la oss diskutere revisor.
La oss diskutere det. Ja, det helt greit. Er det ikke det? 2/3 for å legge det til agendaen.
Ja. Altså, revisor ikke noe vi trenger I forhold til vedtektene. Men I forhold til momskompensasjonsbiten, så trenger vi det.
Ja. Så det dette her for 2020, så det momskompensasjon 2026 som vi må ha det for.
Ja. Men da guider du meg gjennom når jeg kommer til det punktet her, for nå har vi punktet valg. Ja. Styremedlemmene blir valgt for 2 år av gangen. De som var på valg I denne perioden Tom Fredrik og Espen. De har begge to satt seg villige til å fortsette I styret. I tillegg så har jeg greid å overtale Maja. Det har tatt 3 år, tror jeg. Og hun kommer også inn som et nytt styremedlem. Det noen som har motforestillinger på at vi velger Tom Fredrik, Espen og Maja som nye styremedlem?
Nei.
Da klapper vi for det. Og så må vi ha...
Vi har ikke spurt Bjørn, men vi antar at han stiller til gjenvalg.
Ellers så stiller ikke jeg.
Nei, ellers så stiller ikke du.
Ja.
Mot at du stiller I motsatt rekke.
Ole, da referatfører vi at vi har innstilt Bjørn som revisor, og han valgt enstemmig.
Uten selv å ha.
Ja.
Godkjent dette.
Det heller ikke kommet noen forslag til vedtektsendringer, så det det heller ingenting å ta om. Nei, jeg har glemt en ting, skjønner du. Der.
Kan jeg få deg til å ta en kommentar på det?
Ja.
Vi endrer vel ikke vedtektene der, men det gjort en endring I prokuraloven som gjør at vedtektene våre nok bør revideres til neste år. Men det får komme på neste års generalforsamling. Det haster ikke veldig, men det manglende samsvar mellom våre vedtekter og den nye prokuraloven.
Ja, men det heller ingen krise.
Jeg anser ikke det som en krise.
Ja. Jeg hoppet galant over budsjett, men det en orienteringssak. Det vi kommer til å søke om, og nå det øket dette chapter allmennfondet, $4,000, så vi kommer til å søke støtte til disse tingene her. Det de administrative tingene som også kom fram I resultatregnskapet. I tillegg så gis det også en mulighet for å søke om $5,000. Og det kommer vi til å søke om til å holde et off-site event under IGF 25. juni 2025 på Doktorgården I Lillestrøm. Det veldig kort vei fra konferansen og også jernbanen. Det 10 minutter å gå fra konferansen, 5 minutter å gå fra jernbanen. Og der budsjetterer vi med en deltakelse på ca. 60 personer. Det kommer til å starte ved 5-tiden på ettermiddagen og vare til klokken 8-9 tror jeg vi har sagt. Og det vil være noen få taler. Vi har allerede skaffet Tobias Mahler fra Universitetet I Oslo som snakker om hva universitetet gjør med Internet Governance. Det kommer ikke til å være lange taler og sånne ting. Ikke noen slider eller noen ting. Det kommer sikkert en fra Uralo. Sebastian Beaujolais kommer til å snakke litt om hva Uralo gjør og hvorfor de her. Uralo altså et large europeiske gruppe. Og så det fingermat og drikke og nettverk. Det regner vi også med kommer til å gå igjennom, fordi det har jeg mer eller mindre signert ut med en diskusjon med ISOC Foundation allerede. Da ble det litt opp og ned I mente med orden her, men etter mine beregninger så vi ferdige. ja, er det noen som har noe eventuelt, så må de komme med det nå, men det var for sent.
Men jo eventuelt bare på hvor dette her bakverket vi ble lovet ble av.
Skulle vi bestille bakverk?
Du skulle det.
Skulle jeg da?
Du skulle det. Eller han sa at du skulle det.
Jeg tror vi har en chat på det på siste styrmøte.
Jeg trodde vi skulle
Det går
bestille.
bra. Da har vi spart de pengene,
Ja.
så må folk skaffe sin egen mat. Det er greit.
Ja.
Jeg lurer eventuelt på hvor mange som er på Zoom.
Ja, vi er over på YouTube, men did we peak at like 6, 5, 6
På møtet? Altså på hele
på
seansen.
keynoten? Ja.
Ja, men nå da?
Skal vi lage en graf eller til referatet?
Referatet har tall å fylle inn. Gi meg et tall.
Ja, bare 3 for å gjøre.
3.
Ja.
Eneste jeg vil si eventuelt er RGF, for å komme inn der, sånn så må du registrere deg. Så jeg setter det som en action point at vi på en eller annen måte må gi en bruksanvisning til våre medlemmer hvordan det kan bli gjort. Og så håper jeg å se flest mulig der, altså.
Du kan jo si det også da. Vi har søkt om å få ha en village booth på IGF. Den kommer til å bli minimumsbemannet. Men det er et sterkt ønske om at det kan fungere som en base for folk som er der. Så hvis dere har lyst til å stille opp og bruke det som en base og være til stede der litt, så det trenger ikke å være mer avansert enn å...
Nå spør jeg, kanskje jeg er litt slem å spørre, hvis du skal lage en base, kan du prøve å få det til at det faktisk kan fungere som en base med kanskje 4-5 stoler som man kan bruke som en faktisk hangout og ha gode diskusjoner ut og...
Gjerne. Det er litt sånn praktiske utfordringer med å gjennomføre det, men det optimale er om vi faktisk får til et godt sted
Altså, leie et ståbord med noen høye kraker kunne fungert også, bare så det er faktisk en...
Vi har kjøpt inn en del utstyr, så, men det er klart det er jeg vet ikke om du er klar over det, men vi er en organisasjon med begrensede midler.
Ja.
Så,
søk om penger fra visse steder, så går det bra.
Men det er gjerne.
Ja.
Let's hope, fingers crossed. Ok. Da erklærer jeg årsmøtet i ISOC Norge for avsluttet. You may